The following is a Stars and Strikes doubles rebroadcast featuring some of our most memorable recent programs.
WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Stars and Strikes doubles. From the Londonderry Bowling Center, Stars and Strikes doubles features the best Candlepin bowlers from around New England in team competition. Stars and Strikes doubles is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Stars and Strikes doubles here on the Winds. We're at the Londonderry Bowling Center, as always, and we start a brand new month with a brand new series. Glad you could join us. I'm Doug Brown, along with Dan Murphy. And Dan, in this particular series, 5 teams, of course, over the 4 weeks, as we always have, but we have a lot of new names, new faces to talk about.
Just before we opened, I started counting. You know, my addition is not that great because I use a computer, but I think half of the bowlers in this ladder are first-timers, so it's going to be interesting.
And we're going to see several of them in this very first show. So let's introduce you now to our 2 teams for the first week of this new 4-week series. First of all, our number 5-seeded team from Somersworth, New Hampshire, Tom Farrell. His partner is from Manchester, New Hampshire, Bob Johnson.
Okay, Tom comes in averaging 116. The roll-off score is 661, and Bob Johnson's at 119 and 660.
All right, and of course, each of them making their very first appearance with us here on the Winds, and they will face our number 4-seeded team from Goffstown, New Hampshire, John Maffeo, and from Manchester, New Hampshire, his partner, Randy Jarvis.
Okay, John comes in averaging 125. His roll-off score 670. Randy at 118 and 669.
John is the one veteran coming back for an appearance on this particular show.
Yeah, and he came all the way back from, was it Iowa?
Iowa, that's
Iowa,
right.
To be with us. That's great.
We'll talk more about that a little bit later on, I have a feeling. And we will also be back with the first of our 3 strings. Doubles format, of course, here, the first of our 4-week series. And we'll be back with it. Tom Farrell and Bob Johnston against John Maffeo and Randy Jarvis. We'll be back right after these messages. Don't go away. All right, as we always do, let's review all 10 of the bowlers who qualified for this series here on Stars and Strikes doubles. Remember, as always, the bowlers compete individually in the roll-offs. And here's how they finished 1 through 10. Stan Mayo, the overall winner at 714, 28 pins better than Scott Richardson. And then down the line, Gene Gates making his first appearance with us on Stars and Strikes. John Patorsky returning. Mike Fish making his first appearance, the number 5 seed. And then down the line we go. Mike Fish's partner will be Dan Broder, an old friend of Stars and Strikes. John Maffeo, Randy Jarvis, our 4th-seeded team for today's show, and Tom Farrell and Bob Johnston, you already met. They will be on today's show as well. And now here are the teams as they line up. Again, we just combine the scores, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and so on down the list. So here's the way they combine. Farrell and Johnston, our number 5 seed today, against Maffeo and Jarvis. And then up the line, it'll be Fish and Broder here next week, and then on and on we go. Happy to have a lot of newcomers on this series here on Stars and Strikes doubles. So a lot of new folks to tell you about, and a brand new series to begin the month of December.
A chance for some of these bowlers to make a name for themselves.
Absolutely. This is Tom Farrell from Somersworth, New Hampshire.
He's got the diamond, 2, 4, 5, and 8, and whoa, right around the 4-pin.
And the 10 for Tom. The final roll-off for this series, by the way, was held at the King Lanes in Manchester. Thanks to Dan and Bob La Rochelle and all the gang at King Lanes for their help.
And again, Tom, well, we may take it anyways.
Wow. I thought with you, Dan, that it was going to fall at first, but It's still up there. I think the wood probably held it up. And it'll be another 10 box.
Pair of 10s for Tom Farrell.
And now, back from his stay in Iowa, John Maffeo. See, he's come back and he's changed the pronunciation of his name. I think that's how the people in Iowa pronounced it.
Okay. There could be some Iowans listening, so we won't say a word.
True.
Yes. Very nice place, but John didn't care for it. He's back. He missed Candlepin bowling, that's why.
That's true. John moved out there for a while, now back in New Hampshire, and he was kidding with us before the show began about the fact that his kids like it when the name is pronounced Maffeo. Of course, we've always pronounced it Maffeo, as has everyone up until today. So John said that it would make his kids happy if we pronounced it Maffeo, so we decided that we would try and do that if we could.
A couple more leaves like that, and I think they're going to want to change it to Smith. They're not even going to want to know him. Oh, tough break there. The 1 and the 9 go out of there for John. Good effort there, though, for the spare. Still looking at the 2 and 10, and make it an 8 box, and a 6-pin advantage for Johnson and Farrell.
And so here is Bob Johnston.
Yes, I think I pronounced that Johnson. It's Johnston. Yes. You got Maffeo. But we're still Murphy and Brown, right?
That's right.
Can't really.
And we pronounce them the same way, as we always do. There's a 10 for Bob.
Perfect through 3. 3 10 boxes. Both teams still looking for their first mark. Good sized crowd here today at Londonderry Bowling Center watching.
And an enthusiastic one.
Yes, very much so. 3, 6, 4. No wood. Trying to split the 3 and the 6. And will he make it 4 10 boxes in a row? Oh.
It'll be a 9 instead. 39 through 4 for Farrell and Johnston. And here's Randy Jarvis. And for those of you who may be wondering, yes, the answer is yes. Randy Jarvis is the son of Rod Jarvis, who made prior appearances here on Stars and Strikes. And Randy tells us that his dad is now living in Florida.
And end of story now. Yeah, end of story.
Yeah, do we tell the rest of it?
We shouldn't, but we will. But that's only because there's no Candlepin down there. He's bowling 10-pin. We'll forgive him. 23 now through 3. Both teams kind of feeling each other out here in the early going. Still waiting for that first mark. Not easy getting up there for the first time. It's nice warming up, and then all of a sudden we get close. And
Right. Well, in fact, a couple of the bowlers were talking about it. I was discussing it with them before we went on the air, and they were just asking questions about. It's funny, they were almost asking, "How do I not be nervous?"
Yeah.
And it's tough to get over that. I mean, I think for most bowlers, as we've discussed many times on the show, it's just a question of just throwing a few boxes and maybe getting that first mark, and then.
That's right.
And there is mark number 1, maybe. Not quite yet, though.
Everything but the 4-pin rocking back and forth. Piece of wood right next to it. You can see that. And Tommy Farrell will put up the first mark. Spare in the 5th.
So Tom Farrell up for his second time. Tom and his wife Linda have a son Nicholas, who's 3. As he fills the mark with 7. Tom works as a purchasing agent for Davidson Textron and does a lot of his bowling at the Dover Bowl in Dover, New Hampshire. For the spare.
Oh, that close. He's going to get it.
Yes. Nice shot.
Very nice. 2 in a row now. Off the ball of Tom Farrell. light on the head pin here. Needs some help from the wood. See it just swinging around there to clear the 10 pin out.
John Maffeo. John's going to take so much grief about this. You realize that? Oh, yes. Fine shot. No grief about that shot.
Absolutely not. Needs some sidewall action for the 5 pin right there. Actually, the 10 pin came across. Cleared the 5 pin out, matching the mark put up by Tom Farrell in the 5th. Right back in the pocket.
Oh, almost. That 4 pin almost toppled the 7. But it'll be a 9 drop.
And the 7 pin, clear shot. Just has to be careful. Goes too far left because of the piece of wood in the channel. Oh, he put it between.
Wow. Not easy to do. And for the 10. 62 through 6. And now Bob Johnson up to fill the mark left by his partner and looking to increase the lead for the team. Just off to the left, a 4 fill. So the lead is 8.
Remember, the teams, once they decide who starts the match, this rotation must be kept for the first 2 games. I know a lot of you know that by now. In the 3rd game, if they feel one bowler is bowling a little better than the other, they can change the rotation. That's a great 10. 80 through 7. Plays it in the inside. Ball takes the 4 and 7. Headpin does the damage on the rest.
He just wishes he had done it 1 ball earlier. Oh my, the same leave again. They get another shot at it. Oh, he just made it. Can he do it again?
Oh, yes!
How about that? How about it one time?
That's muscle memory, I guess, right there.
It looked a lot the same, too. Randy Jarvis. Well, everybody marking all of a sudden. We'll see if Randy can put his first one up. He's got a spare leave here.
Certainly does. The 2, the 7, and the 8, and all kinds of help behind the 2 pin. He's on the 2 pin, and it looks like he should carry the 7 and the 8. Ooh, he's going. Oh, I thought he was going to go by. Oh, everybody seems to be chipping in. Another spare. Rennie's having trouble figuring out that you got to go from 30 to 29, but that's why he has the veteran John with him to tell him, right? And right back in the pocket, little light. Let's see, 5, and a difficult spare leave now.
There's a sleeper in the back, the 8 pin. 2, 5, 7, 8, 10, and that's the problem. Split the 2 object pins perfectly, but nothing else happened for him. Oh, how about that shot?
Man.
Wow. Take another look at that.
What knocked the 7 pin down? Oh, yeah.
I think the 8 pin hit it, and maybe the ball hit it.
Maybe the
as
ball,
well.
too. Remember that one.
Tom Farrell on a spare with 5.
4 horsemen right plus the 8 pin.
I know you're familiar with Tom, even though he's making his first appearance on the program.
Go way back, back to my teaching days in Pittsfield, and did a little baseball coaching. Tommy was one of my ball players, but he was always a good bowler, always.
How was he in baseball?
Well, he's better in bowling. No, he was a good ball player. A lot of speed. He couldn't hit or catch, but he had a lot of speed. Tommy's going to kill me. Didn't have a track team, you know. Okay, nothing to comics, right? 1, 2, and 8 for Tom.
Looking for the spare in the 10th? No.
Just fading with his steps to the left a little bit, and I think that caused him to pull the ball to the left. Still looking at the 1 and the 8. At 110 right now, and make it 111.
So a chance for John Maffeo to help his team take the lead with a mark. They've been trailing the whole game. John from Goffstown, New Hampshire, having returned from the Midwest. John and his wife Janet have 3 children, a 16-year-old John, Michelle, who's 15, and Paul, who's 13. John works as a sales manager for the New Hampshire Stamping Company and does a lot of his bowling right at the King Lanes in Manchester, where the final roll-off was held for this series. And that'll be a 9 for John. I'm not sure that John is entirely comfortable. He looks just a little off for some reason. Light in the pocket that time, and how about this leave? The 7, 8, and 10. We saw this made a moment ago with a different wood configuration. That wood stays up a little bit. It might help, but it's got to stay rolling away. Yep.
Well, you still got 2 pieces in that left-hand channel too, so he's going to play the wood, and he's going to need something to come off the wall for the 10 pin. I think the other 2 should be covered. Nope,
not quite.
Didn't get it. Actually, got a little movement out of that 10 pin. Not enough to knock it down.
So it'll be Farrell and Johnston with the lead after game 1. It's a 106 for Maffeo and Jarvis, and the difference is 5. We have 2 games to go here on Stars and Strikes Doubles, just starting a brand new series. We'll be back right after these words. Randy Jarvis.
Leading by 5 pins. Half Worcester left.
Yep. See if he tries inside. Nope, he tries the pocket. Just misses. And the $8. Randy has a son, Jonathan, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right. He works for Alcumet.
Sounds good to me.
And does a lot of his bowling at the lakeside lanes.
And he's going to try the half Worcester again. Well, he's not going to try it. He's going to try to convert what is left from that half Worcester. Same shot he had in lane 30. And this time he does try to go inside, but
of course, that's always the danger if you're trying to take that inside route. And he tries it again.
That's what he wanted to do.
A dangerous play there, a gutty play on the 3rd ball.
Well, most of your better bowlers will tell you that the 2nd ball is the gambling ball. If you have a chance to make a shot, and it's a little risky, if you miss, you might leave a lot standing, but you got to take that chance. And then the 3rd ball is usually just grab as many as you can. In Randy's case, he tried to do the same thing with that 3rd ball and did that he tried with the 2nd. That's a mark.
Bob Johnston with the mark.
Right back in the pocket, this time a little full on the Brooklyn side, though. 6 drop on the spare.
Actually got a bad break. He had a piece of wood spinning across the lane, but it didn't hit anything.
Tried to snap the wood in front of the 6-10. Didn't work. Still looking at the 5-7. He'll grab one of them. 25 now through 2. Leading by 12 now in the match.
Last time John Maffeo was with us was back in January of 1992. That was in singles competition. He came in and threw a 400 and lost to Joe Ashline. Maybe that's what drove him away.
Wants another shot at Joe. Well, he converts those 2 for a spare.
All spares so far in this contest. No strikes yet.
If that goes, he may end up with a strike.
It'll be an 8.
2-4 left. Piece of wood in between. Actually, a couple pieces of wood in between the 2 and the 4. Going to try to make it 2 in a row, and he does.
That will help the cause as they're trying to come from behind. That's 4 marks now for the team. Tom Farrell. Look out.
And he'll have the 2-4. Tommy's ball breaking from right to left. He really turns the ball over. Oh, boy. Looked like he was playing it safe, that he missed it to the right, would have caromed off the wood. It did, but never carried the 4.
And it's a 9. Tight match right now. It's been close all the way. Farrell and Johnston have led all the way, but
there's one. The 8 and the 10. This is going to even things right up.
it will indeed. In fact, as we head to a break here, almost at the halfway mark, when we come back, Randy Jarvis will be filling that spare in the 4th, trying to give his team the lead for the first time. We'll be back on Stars and Strikes Doubles. Randy Jarvis. Looking to give his team the lead, and he does with a big 9 drop.
Does indeed. Just the 5-pin left. Now he's got some help resting against the 5. Not quite frozen against it, but
just covers it. 3 marks in a row for the team. This is the first time in the match that Jarvis and Maffeo have been on top.
now a chance to push it into double figures, at least temporarily. Didn't quite get the ball up that time, but dropped 6 to 1, 2, 4, and 8 pins left. No wood to help him. 71 at the halfway point in the second game.
Just off target that time. And the 9, 80 through 6. And now Bob Johnson stepping in. Bob from Manchester, New Hampshire. Works for Johnston Flooring Service, his parents' company. Does a lot of his bowling both in Merrimack and also right here at the Londonderry Bowling Center. And that'll be a 10 for Bob. Don't forget, tomorrow at noon, right here on the Winds, we begin a brand new series in singles as well. It'll be number 5 seed Dennis Shute against our number 4 seed Frank Rose.
Well, an opening for, no, it wasn't really an opening. They were finishing up. 13-pin lead. And now John is going to see if he can add to that in the 7th and 8th frames.
See John making his 18th appearance here on the Winds.
He's starting to zero in on that head pin now, too.
Yeah.
3, 5, 6, and 9 left for John.
He had 2 marks last time up.
Oh boy, right straight back. Clears out the 3 and the 9.
And through for an 8. The 2 doubles teams that have already qualified for the 3rd annual Doubles Tournament of Champions, Ed Gerolman and Brian Fuller with a 430. That's going to be tough to beat. And Bob Kelly and Larry Valcourt with a 381.
John just picked out the 1 and the 9 again. Second time in the match he's done that.
trying to get what he can here.
Big opening for Tom Farrell, though, when he comes up. Try to grab the lead back again.
An 8 and a 7 for John that time.
So even without the benefit of the mark, if Tommy were to put up a couple 10 boxes, he'd drop the lead back down to single numbers. Again, leaving the ball out to the right.
He'll shoot at the 1, 2, 4, and 10.
Overcorrected that time.
And the 9. Picks up 1.
Started the game off with a mark, and they have yet to put another one up this game. He's got a good chance now, though. Just the 5-pin. And one piece of wood resting next to the 5-pin. Another one now rolling just off to the right. And he puts it up there. So that'll drop the lead right now to 9 pins, plus what they get on that fill ball on the spare in the 8th.
And the mark situation as close as the match itself. 5 spares for each team, still no strikes to this point. Randy Jarvis may be able to make this one work. Let's see.
Wood was a little more favorable to him just a second ago. Came in contact with the 3-pin and turned a little bit, so I don't know if he's got the angle now to carry the 7. Let's see what he can do.
Wow. Snapped it right around the 6-pin even.
So now they'll have 4 open boxes in a row.
You get the feeling that this is one of those matches that's going to go right down to the last box.
I think so, back and forth.
It's been close all the way. Farrell and Johnston led all the way through the first game. Maffeo and Jarvis have taken over the lead here in the second game, at least for the moment.
4 horsemen right, plus the 8-pin.
Nope, too full. So that'll be 2 more openings as Bob Johnston will come up to try and give his team the lead. 111 for Maffeo and Jarvis, a 2-game total of 217.
You can see there they have left 10 pins standing, too, the last 5 boxes. This is on a spare.
Almost ties it up. The lead is now just 1.
That will give him the lead by 1, plus the fill.
That's right, the lead was 9. As you saw, but now the lead for Johnston and Farrell. The 4 fill on the spare. All right, let me correct that. The team of Farrell and Johnston have retaken the lead after failing to do so by just 1 pin in the 8th box, but they've got it now, 112 to 111 in game 2. So they add a pin to their advantage. 6 pins the lead for Farrell and Johnston with 1 game to go. We'll figure it all out for sure and get back to you right after these words. Don't go away. Bob Johnston to lead off game 3.
Cogent.
That's the word for the day.
Whoa.
Spare it up. The lead for Farrell and Johnston into game 3, and Dan, they made the switch to have Bob lead off here in game 3. And it looks like that decision may be paying off as he's got a mark and now possibly a chance for another one.
Well, he's got 2 pieces of wood looking at him, and the 5 piece of wood behind it, and the 10. All you can do is play the caps of those woods. Well, hey,
Let's see. No.
He almost stole that one because I'm sure he was trying to play the cap of the 2 pieces of wood out in front.
And the 9. So 27 through 2. John Maffeo will lead off for the team of Maffeo and Jarvis.
Full on the head pin, 3-6-10 on the right, 4-7 on the left.
Still has not been a strike in this show.
One of the longer stretches that we've had without a strike, too, that I can remember anyways.
That's right. John almost flies that over, but has to settle for the 8.
So that pushes the lead to 10 in this game and 16 overall. That's the, well, I was going to say there's our first strike, but a solid 4-pin. Solid 9 drop, I should say, with a 4-pin left. Oh boy, missed that one to the left.
And there it is for the 10. But now that lead is 15 for the team of Farrell and Johnston. See Tom Farrell's roll-off score. Very, very close roll-off scores from about the number 3 position all the way down to number 10. Only 18 pins separating 3rd place from 10th place in a very competitive roll-off this time.
You know, he's looking at 1 pin with his last ball. Unfortunately, that's the head pin. It's the pin you want to go down with that first one.
And it's still there.
36 now through 3. Every open box an opportunity for the other team to post a mark and get back in this. Still only leading by 15.
Tom back on the head pin again. And he will be shooting with a possible chance here, depending on how that wood snaps over for him. The 5, the 7, and the 9.
Now, if he plays it high, he's got a chance of leaving the 9 pin. The 9 pin's going to be the problem.
Nope.
No, the 7 pin was. Of course, he drove that one right straight back.
And that's a 9 box. So 2 openings and a chance for Randy Jarvis here with the team trailing by 15. Chance to really tighten things up going into the home stretch here. The winning team will come back next week to face Mike Fish and Dan Broder.
Randy just missing the head pin to the right. Ball's breaking again, much like Tom Farrell's from right to left, but that time just wasn't enough to catch the head pin. 4 horsemen left. Decision time here. Will he go for the 4-7 or go for the head pin and try to take all 3? Well, I think he was trying for the head pin. Loses 2 more in count. Lead now balloons to 17.
Randy said the first thing he did when he found out he had qualified for television was to call his dad in Florida to tell him.
Somehow I think a tape of the show might be going down to Florida.
Absolutely, increasing our ratings down in Florida.
3-6-10 and the 7 pin. No wood to help. He's going to do this on his own, either inside of the 3 pin, but the conventional way, splitting the 3-6, have the 3 pin knock out the 7.
Not quite.
Flush on the head pin. Gain 2 to remain at 17.
He does. So with 6 boxes to go in the match now, it's a 17-pin advantage for Tom Farrell and Bob Johnson. We'll be back with the rest of this one in a minute. Bob Johnson as we move into the home stretch here, week 1. Johnston and Farrell leading by 17 pins over Maffeo and Jarvis.
Well, that's an interesting lead. 4-7, 6-10. Piece of wood in front of the 6-10. Another piece of wood leaning against the sidewall next to the 4-7.
Nope. Bob qualified as the 10th finisher in the roll-off. Interesting story, too. He rolled a 660 to finish 10th, but he was tied for 10th place with Paul St. Pierre, who's been on the program many times. But the tiebreaker, of course, is highest single game in the roll-off. Bob had a 151. Paul St. Pierre had a 146 high game. The interesting thing is, Bob told me that he just qualified in the semifinals by 2 pins in order to advance to the finals.
So the close match like this doesn't bother him that much.
Right.
He's used to it. He's seasoned.
He's been living on the edge this whole sequence. The other interesting thing he told me is that this is only the 5th time he's ever tried to qualify for Stars and Strikes. So for those of you who may get discouraged and think it takes a long time to get on, not necessarily so. It just depends on what kind of a day you're having. And Bob was able to sneak in twice and get here on the program. Well, an opening here for John Maffeo, and there is the first strike of the match, and what a time for it. How about that? Brooklyn hit.
It's a matter of time whether the 9-pin was going to go down or not, but as Doug said, the first strike of the match. I was going to say now they'll probably come in bunches. The 5 and the 10 pins left, a piece of wood that will help him.
Maffeo and Jarvis, Dan, had gone 9 boxes without a mark before that strike.
I would say he's going to have to go after the 5-pin, that end of the piece of wood, rather than the 10-pin side. He threw his hand up. He knew he was down the middle. Not what he wanted to do. Want to be more favoring the 5-pin a little more.
We're going to go into the final rotation. 2 boxes left for each bowler, and the difference in this match is going to be 6 pins. That's the lead that Farrell and Johnston had coming in. So each bowler with 2 boxes remaining. Remember, 3 of these 4 guys making their very first appearance on television, and they're putting on a terrific show here. We get a very close match going down the stretch.
7-10 for Tom Farrell. Let's see where the wood settles down. He's got 4 pieces of wood to use if he has to.
Knocked down 8. 4 of them are on the deck.
Well, definitely have to be, I would say, catch a piece of that right-hand piece of wood that's flat against him, and then not quite enough of the rest of them to take the 7. Now, as you can tell, these are all important pins now. 6 pins is the advantage. He doesn't want to leave anything standing. Now he's got 1 more box, and he'll be finished for the day, assuming that we'll win in regulation.
That's right.
Well, he's going to try the 4 horsemen left. 1, 2, 4, 7. That looks good.
Oh, yes. Big mark right there for Tom Farrell in the 8th. The 8th mark for the team, all spares. And now Randy Jarvis for his final 2. And Randy knows that he's got to put 1 mark up there in order to keep the lead in single figures, and he's going to have a shot at the 5-pin here. Right there. Mark in the 7th. That's 7 marks for the team of Maffeo and Jarvis. Actually, Randy could give his team the lead here, at least for the moment, with a big fill, but he doesn't get it. It's just 3.
Pushed it right straight through the 1, 5, and 8. And he's got the spread eagle plus the 9-pin in the back.
Well, in that situation, Dan, all you want to do is hit the head pin. He just hit it a little too square.
Yeah. He's hit the object pin both times. The head pin the first ball, the 2-pin the second ball, but he's still looking at 5 pins with the 3rd. And that's a tough 8 box.
84 through 8, so the lead right now, 5, but it will increase with the fill. Bob Johnston ready to fill in the mark left by his partner. And he gets into the pocket for a 7, Phil.
Well, that pushes the lead into a double mark situation. Let's see what else is going to happen. Will that go?
Oh.
That's assuming he pins. Can't leave too many pins standing.
99 through the 9th. You see, through completed boxes, the lead is 12. So a mark here could make it very, very difficult.
And he goes through the middle. Interesting lead with a 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10. Let's see what he decides to do. Right down the middle. That could be a heck of a shot. Well, did all he could do with that one. Be off to John, and John Maffeo, and he's going to have a shot at this. Going to need 2 marks.
108 for Farrell and Johnston. 331 is the total. So John Maffeo has to get up to 115 for the win, so he needs 2 marks. He needs 31 pins in the 2 boxes. Look out. Well,
7, 9, 10. Oh, is the 7 pin going to go? No. Obviously, he's going to play the wood out in front. Piece of wood to the right. Probably there's another piece behind it. Probably want to come up on the left-hand tip of that wood.
let's see. Oh my.
He's right down the center.
No action on the 7 pin, so John knows the situation. He's going to have to throw a double strike. Actually, if he gets 20, he will tie it. So he doesn't need a double strike to win. If he gets spare strike or strike spare, he could tie the match and send it to overtime. Oh, nice looking first ball, and there's the lead. What did we say about this going right down to the last?
Wouldn't surprise me if he picked this up and threw a strike. He's got to get the 6 pin, keep himself alive. He does.
All right, here's the situation. If John Maffeo throws a strike here, we'll be going to overtime, and we'll keep the same rotation. So we'll go 2 extra boxes, and Tom Farrell and Randy Jarvis would throw the 2 extra boxes to decide it. But it's got to be a strike, and it isn't. Well, a terrific finish. John Maffeo gets 5 on the fill, a 109, and the totals 331 for Farrell and Johnston, 326 for Maffeo and Jarvis. We knew it would go right down to the last ball, and it did. A 5-pin win. We'll be back to talk to the bowlers and set you up for tomorrow's opening singles match and also for next week here on doubles after this timeout. All right, 1 week in the books here on this series here on Stars and Strikes Doubles, and what a terrific match it was. The final score once again, 331 to 326. Let's talk to the runners up first. John and Randy, come on up. A round of applause, please, because a terrific match. Step right on in here, guys, and want to get you in here and face the camera. All right, Randy, that one's for you, and you guys will, John, there you go, split $150, and, well, first time, you're going to send a tape of this to Florida, right?
Oh, yeah, from my father. Hi, Dad.
Tough match. Very, very tough right down to the end. It seemed like it was going to go that way the whole time.
Yeah, they were falling kind of hard on the head pin. I'd like to thank all the people that came down with me, my coaches, Tracy and Wayne and John. Thanks a lot, you know.
You did have a pretty big rooting section. Let's talk to your partner here a second. Welcome back to New England, first of all, sir. And unfortunately, this one didn't turn out the way you would have wanted, but close match right at the end. And you did what you had to do in the last box.
Hey, it's great to be back, and I'm up to my old tricks. You know, keep on coming back. But 2 1-9 punches, 2 9-pin drops missed. End of story.
Well, still a very tight finish. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys. Congratulations, and hopefully we'll see you again before the season ends. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. And let's have Bob and Tom come up now. 2 newcomers making a successful debut here on Stars and Strikes. Tom, congratulations, and Bob too. Oh, nothing to this, right? Just come on and win, right?
We're very fortunate. A win is a win, you know. And to win a match without any strikes, I think, is enough in itself, you know.
Well, also to come on the first time and get the win with no strikes. I mean, certainly the odds are against that, I guess, especially here at Londonderry. But you got it done.
Yeah, well, we just got the lucky breaks at the end, and we have to take it.
And then all you could do was watch at the end, of course.
Exactly. For another one.
Well, we got next week. We'll have our number 3 seeds coming in, Mike Fish and Dan Broder. So we'll be looking for you guys then. Try and make it 2 in a row.
I have to throw a little higher than 330 next week. That's for sure.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Congratulations. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week. All right, Tom and Bob, congratulations. And here's the way it looks now for next week as we go into the second of our 4-week series. Tom Farrell and Bob Johnson will be looking to try and make it 2 in a row. We will have yet another newcomer here next week, Mike Fish, making his first appearance. His partner and old pro, though, Dan Broder.
Yeah, there's a combination of a veteran and a rookie there too, but didn't quite work out that way today. The 2 rookies won, but both bowled pretty well. And like you said, without a strike, that's pretty good bowling.
It seemed like it was, as one of the guys said, it seemed like it was just one of those days when the pins were falling a little harder today. There wasn't that extra carry that you sometimes get.
It certainly had some solid 9-pin drops, but you weren't able to carry the extra pin for the strike. But who knows, next week could be just the opposite.
All right, don't forget, tomorrow at noon here on Stars and Strikes, we'll be over at Park Place Lanes for our first week in the 4-week singles competition. It'll be Dennis Shute against Frank Rose. Next Saturday at noon, of course, we'll be right back here for our next doubles match. It'll be Tom Farrell and Bob Johnston trying to make it 2 in a row against Mike Fish and Dan Broder. So until tomorrow, for Dan Murphy and the whole Stars and Strikes crew, I'm Doug Brown. Have a good weekend, everybody.